Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Mark here. Let's get into the week one action where we kick it off with the Thursday night slate. I'm going to give you guys 4 best bets in this video. Week 0 is in the books, and this is a great time to be alive. We have college football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be a great Labor Day weekend. Couple marquee games. We're going to have coverage on that as well. But I want to give you guys my 4 best bets for the Thursday slate within the college football ranks. So make sure you guys all subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell. Smash that like button. All that good stuff. That way you never miss a beat when I drop stuff here on the channel. Picks every single day. Also, if you haven't followed me on X or on Discord, there are links down below in the description. Make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And I do want to take the time and opportunity to shout out my channel members. Thank you guys for helping me build this platform. Really can't do it without you. And if you want to become a channel member, that's a great thing to do because we don't charge for picks here, but it's a great way to give back to the channel. Kind of keeps me going. And with that being said, thanks to you guys, we are able to do a lot of cool stuff. So there will be some giveaways, some exclusive kind of videos for you guys. We have a lot of things in store that we're going to be unveiling during the football season, and we'll get into that down the road. But in this video, we're going to be talking about these 4 best bets. So without further ado, let's get down into it, okay? And I want to turn to the odds jam where we're going to find the odds for these 4 games. And I do want to preface this all by saying I just started this channel for the Super Bowl, right? So we haven't had this platform for too long. And what I mean by that is we did not get to experience a full football season. So with that being said, if you guys have any suggestions, comments, if you want, I want to tailor the content that best fits your needs and my channel. So that's kind of where I'm at. So feel free to give any suggestions along the way down below in the comments. All right. But we're going to be talking about these 4 games. All right. And I do want to get into it, but we are going to kind of talk about week 1 a little bit first. Week 1, a couple things to keep in mind. College football is a little different than the NFL, right? We have graduates, we have NFL players, and we have transfers. And now with the NIL portal and kind of all that, and with the acquisitions, that is just a whole nother animal to handicap. So I tend to go a little bit lighter in the first 2 weeks of college football. However, I do think that's something where you have to understand why. A lot of times you can make a pretty good chunk catching, the books don't know any more than we do. But on the other side of that argument, them and the teams have had all summer to prepare these lines, prepare for their opponents. And this is something where you see a lot of line movements. You could get a lot of closing line value if you bet early. Or also you can present yourself with some betting opportunities if you think the number moved too much. But we do see that a lot in week 1, right? A lot of opening numbers where sharps hit them, they hammer them pretty good as soon as those numbers get released. And then, all of a sudden you got a 24-point spread. That's now you're betting it, 2 days before the game, and it's at 17 and a half. So that happens from time to time. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but let's get into that first game where we're going to be talking about the Buffalo Bulls and Lafayette. That will be the first best bet that I give out. We're going to be taking Buffalo on the money line. Okay, I took them at minus 156. That's the best number available. Buffalo had a pretty crappy season last year, and one of the trends within my picks is we're going to have a lot of FCS schools, a lot of MAC schools. Kind of little lopsided affairs where I look for some value between those lines. We don't really have enough numbers to go off of. I don't use past performances. There's no way I'm going to use the statistics, despite returning starters. It's just a whole new ball game, I think, when you go season to season. The only thing that I use that for is it does let you formulate an opinion on what kind of brand of football they're going to play, what style offensively, defensively, if they put an emphasis on special teams. That allows you to make a pretty good handicap. But within this matchup, we're going to be taking Buffalo for a couple reasons. First off, they are playing an FCS school, not to undervalue or underestimate an FCS opponent. However, I do think Buffalo will have a better year than last year. New coach. They give up a lot of yards in the air. I think this is one where we see tend to lean towards an under in this matchup as well. I don't really see Lafayette scoring too much. And that's kind of where I'm at. So we will talk about this a little bit deeper, but that's kind of my data points for betting this game. We're going to see Buffalo playing really well historically in home openers, but they've kind of been crappy, just to put it bluntly. Buffalo did not have a good year in the MAC. I think this is something where they're bringing in a lot of new players, but we do have a difference in talent, in my opinion. And talent gap, I think, is why I like Buffalo, despite seeing that 6.5 opening number get bet down all the way to 3.5. So that's what it's going to give us an opportunity. I don't trust Buffalo to win by more than a field goal, so I am going to lock in that money line play on Buffalo minus 156, okay? And then the next game we're going to talk about is the likes of probably the marquee game on the slate for Thursday. It's going to be North Dakota State and Colorado. Now, this is a very interesting game due to the fact that Colorado has taken a lot of steam since its opening number. Also, you couple that with the fact of Dion, kind of their home opener, if you will, within his two sons, Travis Hunter, number one in NIL money. It's just kind of, in terms of his son, Shador, it's just going to be a crazy, crazy season with all the hype that's surrounding Colorado. And that's kind of what leads me to my handicap. All right, we're going to go away from the steam. We're going to take North Dakota State. I think this is something where people who don't know who North Dakota State is, perennial power out there in the FCS world of things. And I think this is something where I look for North Dakota State to do well, despite seeing Colorado make a lot of moves in the transfer portal. They made a lot of improvements. Dion in year two, this is going to be very interesting to watch. But I think that, prove it on the football field, okay? And I've taken that stance in a lot of ways against Colorado, and I think this is something where North Dakota State, being an opening opponent for Colorado, that's not, a tune-up game. This is a prime time. This is a perennial matchup. I think that when, despite being Division I and in a big-name conference, maybe you have to understand just a little bit more to that than, when you play an actual powerhouse at a different division. I'm not saying that Colorado's on upset alert. I'm just saying they better come to play. And so that's something where I see North Dakota State, in the kind of the brand of football they play, right? You get multi-year starters. You get a lot of veteran experience at the FCS level. And that's something where I see, I think, a little too close of a game. I like North Dakota State in the first half, but I do see some value taking them for the full game at plus 10. But if I did have, if you force me to, I do like taking North Dakota State plus the points in the first half. But I think the best value is for the full game plus 10. Okay, so that's where we're going to be at in the Colorado-North Dakota State game. There's a lot of things to talk about football-wise, but like I said, there's no data points really available. We know what Colorado did last year. We know what North Dakota State did last year. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter. I'm going to grab the points here. North Dakota State on the road plus 10. All right, next game up is we're going to stay in the MAC, and we're going to talk about another FCS opponent. This will be Toledo and Duquesne. Now, Toledo, a very interesting storyline. Okay, they lost Finn to Baylor. They lost their running back, and now they come back with a different defense. They return a lot of starters, but some of that back end really is hard to replace, especially the first corner off the board, I believe, coming out of Toledo in the NFL draft. This is something where we look for a big matchup. I think that Toledo had depth at quarterback, despite Finn being the standout. There was a drop-off, but I think you give them a full season a full off season as being the go-to guy. Tucker Gleason, that is something where I think Toledo will do better in this year. I think they might even be better suited with him now that he's full control of what's going on with the offense. So I do like Toledo here. I think Toledo gets up into the 50s, and I think that Duquesne really struggles to get above 20 points. So I'm going to be grabbing Toledo minus 27 as my third best bet. Kind of a fade against Duquesne as well. Toledo did outstanding in the MAC, and Duquesne, not too shabby. Okay, they won their conference last season and got into the FCS playoffs, but I do think that when you play a different caliber opponent, sometimes, there is a big drop-off. So I think that we're going to see Toledo take care of business. I think they're going to try to get their offense functioning and kind of work the kinks out, and they're going to play fast. I think Toledo gets this one done, scores a ton of points. I don't know what their team total is. I'd have to look it up, but that's something where I would also lean towards taking Toledo within the team total. And I am going to pull it up just to show you kind of the beauty of Odds Jam. Kind of saves me a lot of time. I don't have to open up 5,000 apps and go through all all that work. But we see Toledo over 39.5. I think that would be kind of my next best bet if I had to give you guys 2 picks in this game. Taking Toledo over 39.5. Best number out there is -125, available on DraftKings. And I do think I don't know if the books have caught up, but I will give you guys my personal opinion. I think DraftKings has made a considerable gap between them and every other sports book in terms of college football different markets. Okay, maybe not with the straight up bets, totals, just the ones that we're used to, traditional bets, but in terms of props and some of these other markets, I think DraftKings in the college football world definitely separates themselves. So third best bet, we are taking Toledo -27. I think they get in the 50s and they keep Duquesne out of the 20s, even 20 max, but keep them under 20 points for this game. Okay, and then the final game on the card. This is one we're going to look into: Coastal Carolina and Jacksonville State. This probably will be probably my best pick if I had to give one. We are going to back Rich Rodriguez in Jacksonville State in this matchup. This is one where we saw this number open up at a number of 4.5. We've seen Coastal take some money. Now this number is at 3. It hovers around 3, 2.5. I was able to find a 2.5. So I'm betting Jacksonville State -2.5 at a -120 price. That will be my 4th best bet for the Thursday evening slate. Just to pull back up the odds, Jam, so you guys can see for yourself. Right now, FanDuel's at 3.5, but you can find, like I said, a -2.5 right now on Fanatics at a -120 price. Okay. If you were going to bet the -2.5, and that's what we're going to do, we're going to take Jacksonville State to win by a field goal, and kind of give you some background into this pick. And it's something very, very obvious. Okay, this is where we look for Grayson McCall's departure from Coastal, and also a couple other big skill players. Right, they lose a couple receivers and a couple people on defense that I think is really going to lend towards this being the right side of the bet. Also, within Jacksonville State, they're going to run the crap out of the football. Okay, I think this is something where you look into what Coastal Carolina and what they do. Okay, it's a huge difference in terms of who they bring back. Okay, and I think Jacksonville State has the edge in returning starters. We're not going to use their numbers, but we're just going to take the experience card. Switching quarterbacks, that's going to be an issue. Okay, when Grayson McCall was hurt a little bit, he was serviceable, but still there was a huge drop-off, and I think Coastal would have had a lot better season in 2023 if he was around, obviously. Okay, but that's kind of where we look for the prior matchups between these two teams as well. If we look back to the last game, you saw that Coastal beat Jacksonville State 30-16, but this is something where Jacksonville State at home, I think this one is my best bet of the day, where we look for Jacksonville State to roll and cover, win by a field goal at their home opener tomorrow, 8 o'clock on CBS Sportsnet. So that'll wrap up my 4 best bets. Here is kind of my final plays where I give you guys my rundown, and we'll put them up on the screen. So for those of you that do like to follow along, thank you for watching the entirety of this video, but this will be kind of what I do in each of my videos. I will put up my final plays at the end. So that's where we'll see Toledo -27, North Dakota State +10, Jacksonville State -2.5, and Buffalo -156 on the money line. So appreciate you guys. Good luck with all your bets. We'll see you on the channel, and have a great rest of your day and enjoy this weekend. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.